All right. Hello, everybody. KVU Chief Meteorologist here with you on this Thursday evening for our nightly KVU Plus and YouTube live update on the forecast. Several things that we want to talk about with you this evening. Number one, our weather stays nice and quiet, very December-like through this weekend. So I think for folks who are heading out to the big Texas Clemson college football playoff first round game on Saturday, perfect football weather's in the forecast. But things turn warmer and more active again as we get into Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Increasingly, it looks like we could have some storms around for the night before Christmas, but I still think that most of Christmas Day is going to be partly dry. It is looking very warm, though, with temperatures likely in the 70s for both days. So let's start with that tonight, our Christmas forecast. So I have updated our rain chance for Christmas Eve. I now have a 40% chance for showers and storms in the forecast, mainly 8 days. So think evening, even into the overnight hours. 40%, so it's up a little bit from yesterday. 74 degrees for the afternoon high Christmas Eve. Have some storms around overnight. A 20% for Christmas morning. I think at that point, most of the rain is probably already out of here, but a few lingering rain showers can't be ruled out. Most of Christmas Day, though, still looks dry, partly cloudy and warm with a temperature of 71. So you guys know how this works. We'll get into the extended model, do all the nitty-gritty of the forecast coming up here in a few moments. But in the meantime, again, things are all quiet outside tonight. It's 61 currently in Austin, 60 in Bastrop. Some parts of the hill country already down to the 50s, like I know at 54. Wind is calm right now in Austin, but we have returned today to a southeast breeze. That's actually going to change late day tomorrow. We have another little reinforcing cool front, which will be moving through, and that will drop our temperatures at least slightly as we go into the weekend. 24-hour temperature change for most. It's a little cooler in Giddings and LaGrange, but for most it's a degree or two warmer than this time yesterday. And I think that trend will continue to translate to our overnight forecast. It won't be as cold tonight. We had some areas get a freeze this morning out across the hill country. I think even the coldest pockets in the hill country tonight, upper 30s, safely above freezing. Okay, so I mentioned this little secondary front coming through. This is it. You can see this little low pressure kind of swirling into the Chicago area, some snow with it, and then trailing back behind it. We do have this cold front. We're going to get kind of grazed by this cold front late tomorrow into tomorrow night. And again, it's not going to bring any rain with it, but it is going to drop our temp down even a little bit cooler as we go into Saturday, especially in the morning. Speaking of wind and cooler temperatures, our last cold front kick the breeze. So today our cedar count has gone up to the high category, 101 grains per cubic meter. Mold is also high. I've just been talking to some folks here at the station today. I know some scratchy throats, some sniffling that's going on. That's you. Cedar could be the culprit. Tonight's forecast, chilly. This is pretty much like standard mid to late December weather on the dot. Average for this time of the year for low temperatures is 43. We have 44 in the forecast tonight in Austin. Some low 40s for areas east of I-35. But again, even across the hill country, upper 30s, it's going to be safely above a freeze for the coldest pockets tonight. Then across the I-35 corridor in the metro, ranging here from 40 in Georgetown to the cool end of things to about 44 in the warm end of things for parts of Hays County, San Marcos 44, Wimberley and Dripping Springs also around 44 degrees tonight. Tomorrow, if you like today, you'll like tomorrow too. It's going to be exactly the same. Sunshine. Again, we do kind of switch to northeast breeze as we go into the late day. High temperature 66 degrees in Austin, mid to upper 60s area wide. Average high temperature for 63, so it's close, but will technically be a few degrees above average. Closer look at the metro. Pflugerville 67, Del Valle 66, Utah a high of 68 degrees for you tomorrow. So then late day tomorrow, that little front comes through, so we are pretty cold to start Saturday morning, including a freeze for some areas. I have 36 in the forecast in the city for Austin, so we still have not had the first freeze of the season in the city yet. The airport has had a freeze, but Austin Canterbury in town has not had a freeze. Remember, typical first freeze is like December 2nd, early December, so we're way past that and I still have a freeze in our extended forecast. Bastrop, it'll be close Saturday morning, and then we expect a light freeze from many areas across the hill country, Blanco, Gillespie, Llano, Mason County. I do want you to keep in mind if you set up early for tailgates, holiday shopping, weekend errands, whatever you have going on Saturday, it is going to be chilly early in the day. The afternoon, though, is just going to warm up beautifully. I mean, if you ask me, this is just perfect football weather for the big 3 o'clock kickoff on Saturday. Texas hosting Clemson. I've got 63 in the forecast. at kickoff. 62 degrees, 61. We'll drop into low 60s as we get into the second half of the game or so, maybe into the up 50s by the fourth quarter. But again, I think it's just enough of a chill in the air that you know it's Ember, but it's not going to be frigid or anything like that. Okay, low temps next 5 days. Coldest is going to be Saturday morning at 36. Sunday, we're still low 40s. And then as we talked about, we're going warmer, more active early next week. So Monday, Tuesday, lows go way up higher. Eventually, we'll have lows in the low 60s to start Christmas Eve. Temperatures also going way higher. So low to mid 60s, very close to average the next few days through the weekend. And then starting on Monday, I have 76 degrees in the forecast. And then Tuesday, this is Christmas Eve, 74 is in the forecast. I still think we'll be in the 70s for Christmas Day and likely beyond in the second part of next week. Okay, let's get into the models now. Extended models will start morning of Christmas Eve. Here is 7 a.m. Morning looks dry. Let's go to the late day, though, and here's our system. So as we get into 6 o'clock, Dallas, northern I-35 corridor, we have some rain around. Then as we keep going late evening into the overnight, models continue to show scattered to maybe even numerous showers and storms as we go into the overnight. This is the night before Christmas. This could continue into the later night hours, and this is 7 a.m. Wednesday morning. So 7 a.m. Christmas morning. I really think that most of the rain, if not all of it's already going to be out of here, but it's possible, especially east and southeast of Austin, we're still hanging on to some leftover rain for Christmas morning. That's why we've bumped up that rain chance Christmas Day to about 20%. But generally, I think Christmas Day is going to be primarily dry. You can see that system pulling away from us as we get into the afternoon on Christmas Day. Wanted to show you the model comparison. So the model I just showed you is the European model. That's kind of the model we think that probably has the better grasp on this. Our GFS American model, though, the other, these are the two main computer models that we look at least for the extended forecast. GFS model, it does bring us some rain for the night before Christmas. Notice the heavier stuff is north and east of here, so that would mean better rain chances kind of clip our eastern and northeastern areas, Milam, Lee, Fayette County, Wilco, areas like that. Maybe we could just get kind of grazed by this system according to the American model, but then the European model, which again we just showed you, brings storms right down into Texas, and that would bring us widespread rain and storms. So again, our rain chance, it is increasing a little bit. I went 30% yesterday, 40% today, but still to some extent remains to be seen exactly the magnitude of the storms that we could see for Christmas Eve and the night before Christmas. And again, the rainfall comparison, GFS model is not quite as aggressive with the rain. It does still bring a pretty solid ½ inch to an inch or so of rain along and east of I-35, with most of this coming in with our system for Christmas Eve and the night before Christmas. But the European model, it still favors heaviest totals for our easternmost areas. It's even more aggressive. It's got close to an inch of rain in Austin. In some areas, maybe 1 to 3 inches with isolated higher amounts. If the European model is what ends up happening, then maybe even a minor flood risk for some areas of I-35. Now, I showed you the model comparison, kind of our forecast, which is much more conservative, but this is kind of what we're looking at as far as on average, just an average forecast. ½ inch to an inch for areas east of I-35, again, especially Bastrop into Giddings, Milam County and Fayette County, and then more along the lines of a ½ inch to a ½ inch in the I-35 corridor and in the Austin metro. Again, this is kind of a conservative forecast, so this could trend even higher if the European model ends up being true. Lower totals across the hill country, so unfortunately, we need the rain. We've got drought conditions that we need help with, but we also have very low lake levels that we need help with, and we know to help with Lake Travis, we got to get rain out west into the hill country, and that is not really what things are looking like as we see the forecast right now. So here's our 7-day forecast. We'll just take some time, go through this. 44 degrees tomorrow morning, but not as cold as what we had this morning. 66 degrees is in the forecast for the afternoon tomorrow, just sunny, really nice. Saturday, in addition to the Texas game, it is also the first official day of winter. It's the winter solstice, so the shortest day of the year. The morning is going to be cold, 36. There will be a freeze for some areas outside of Austin. The afternoon high temperature about 63, so we've dropped that a little bit as a result of that weak front coming in tomorrow. Sunday morning, 42, dry and still very, again, just classic December weather for Sunday. Partly cloudy, a high of 66. Monday is when things start to change. 56 in the morning, mid-70s for afternoon highs. And then we go to Christmas Eve. So there's a chance of 40%. That's especially for the late day into the overnight, so into the night before Christmas. A lingering 20% for the morning of Christmas Day. I still really think the vast majority, if not all of Christmas Day, is going to be dry with rain already moving out. But there's a chance, especially southeast of Austin, we're still hanging on to some lingering rain in the morning of Christmas Day. High of 71. Then on Thursday, we'll watch and see if on the day after Christmas, on the 26th, if maybe another system could come in. We're going to keep rain chances pretty low, say a 20% chance for isolated showers and storms. High temperature of about 74 degrees is what we have in the forecast. So that is our 7-day here in Central Texas. Here's our 6 to 10 temperature outlook. So this now takes us December 25th, Christmas Day, through the 29th, and we will not be alone with the warmer than average weather here in Texas. I mean, nearly the entire continental United States, warmer than average weather is expected, and obviously that does extend to us here in Central Texas. So these maps, of course, it doesn't mean it's going to be scorching hot. It's December. It's not going to be like 100 degrees, but it, for us, likely means that we're going to have several days with temperatures that are in the 70s for afternoon highs and mornings in the 50s and 60s. Here's our 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook, and as you see, it is highlighting many parts of the interior of the U.S. with above average precipitation chances, and then the lighter green, again, still not a slam dunk for us, but we are still looking at above average precipitation, at least a slice of that on our 6 to 10 day outlook right here in Central Texas as well. So again, for Christmas Eve and the night before Christmas, we do have a chance for rain in the forecast, and there's another chance for rain on the day after Christmas. So not a washout next week, not a washout for Christmas Eve, but our forecast certainly looking a little bit more active and certainly much warmer as we get into next week. So that is our update on the forecast. We hope everybody enjoyed it. Thank you for joining us on KVUE Plus. Again, we do this pretty much every night now, 7 o'clock, and then meteorologist Grace Thornton does an update in the morning as well. If you want more weather, can't blame you. We'll be back. KVUE News at 10 o'clock. That starts at 10 o'clock. Y'all have a good night, and we will talk to you later.